Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Hello miss. Hello friends. How are you today? I hope everyone is doing well and staying healthy. First of all, let me thank you all for coming here today. I would like to take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Rizka Nuraini. I'm a second semester student at the YPF Pharmacy Academy in Bandung. Today, I'm going to talk about herpes zoster and post-herpestic neuralgia. Did you know what herpes zoster? In the first part, I give a few basic definitions. Herpes zoster or shingles, a reactivation of human varicella zoster virus or chickenpox, induces inflammation of the dorsal root ganglion and corresponding nerves, causing a rash and unilateral pain following a dermatomal distribution. Cutaneous features of the disease are characterized by a unilateral painful vesicular eruption over a restricted dermatome. Herpes zoster is classically a disease of adulthood, affecting those older than 15 years old, although it can occur in younger persons and in particular those who had primary varicella infection within the first year of life. Individuals with a history of primary varicella have a 13% lifetime risk of developing zoster. The severity and incidence of herpes zoster increase significantly with age. In view of a specific age-related decline in cell-mediated immunity to the varicella zoster virus. Next, clinical features. Rash. Herpes zoster patients usually present acutely with a painful vesicular rash in a dermatomal distribution. The pain can predicate the appearance of the rash by 2 or 3 days, making it difficult to diagnose during the prodromal stage. The rash present initially are erythematous muscule or papules, which progress to vesicle and pustule over 3 to 4 days. In immunocompetent hosts, the lesion usually crosses in 7 to 10 days. In immunocompromised patients, the rash may become disseminated and associated with physical organ involvement. Example is pneumonia. Next, I will talk about 3 Ps during an herpes zoster reactivation. 3 Ps during an herpes zoster reactivation are defined. First, acute herpes zoster related pain. 2. Subacute herpes zoster related pain. And 3. Post-therapeutic neuralgia. Acute herpes zoster related pain lasts for a maximum of 30 days, and acute herpes zoster related pain often begins with prodromal pain, starting a few days before the appearance to the rash. Subacute herpetic neuralgia is defined as pain that endures after the healing of the vesicle, but the appearance within 3 months after onset. There is still no consensus on the definition of post-herpetic neuralgia, but it is typically defined as pain that continues after 3 months of disease onset. In this section, I will explain about risk factor post-herpetic neuralgia. Risk factor for developing post-herpetic neuralgia include older age, female sex, prodromal pain, suffering from a severe rash, and greater acute pain severity. Herpes zoster induced neuritis can have different clinical manifestations resulting in a mosaic of somatosensory symptoms. Pain may be described as burning, deep, itching pain, tingling, itching, and stabbing. It is often associated with tactile and cold allodynia. It can be debilitating, having an impact on both physical and emotional functioning, and causing a decrease in quality of life. It often leads to fatigue, insomnia, depression, anorexia, anxiety, and emotional distress. It is therefore important to explore methods for prevention of the development of post-herpetic neuralgia and to optimize pain treatment for both subacute herpes zoster-related pain and post-herpetic neuralgia. Next, in this section, I will talk about pathogenesis. There are a few mechanisms in which post-herpetic neuralgia develops. 1. Upon damage of the nervous root and ganglion, their peripheral never lose the ability to inhibit nociceptive pain signals. 2. With small fiber differentiation from damage, the C fibers become sensitized and lower their threshold for action potentials. This increases their discharge rate and magnitude, resulting in peripheral nervous system medicated spontaneous pain and allodynia. 3. Lastly, there are some patients who experience intense pain in a region of profound sensory loss without allodynia, also termed anesthesia dolorosa. In their patient, there is loss both large and small diameter fibers, and the pain is likely due to intrinsic central change with increased spontaneous activity in different central neurons or reorganization of central connection. Next, treatment. In general, the treatment goals of herpes zoster are reducing the progression of cutaneous lesion, decreasing the intensity of acute zoster pain, and lessening the incidence of post-herpetic neuralgia. Treatment of immunocompromised hosts is also intended to reduce the risk of associated complications. Treatment of acute herpes zoster is divided to whether it is an uncomplicated or complicated zoster. An uncomplicated zoster is defined as a zoster affecting two dermatomas in immunocompetent hosts and mouse. A complicated zoster is defined as a zoster occurring in immunocompromised hosts, a deracemane zoster, or a zoster occurring at special sites. And this table lists the antiviral medication used to treat herpes zoster. Next, pain control in acute herpes zoster. Adequate pain control is important in herpes zoster. A combination of antiviral therapy with effective relief of acute pain may lessens the risk of post-herpetic neuralgia, since severe acute pain is a risk factor for post-herpetic neuralgia. Formally, to medicate pain, we recommend consideration of paracetamol, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, or mild opiates such as tramadol. Next, post-herpetic neuralgia. Post-herpetic neuralgia can be treated with topical or systemic agent. Topical agents such as topical lidocaine 2% gel 4 times day and topical capsaicin 0.05% ointment 4 times day can be anti-lace. Lastly is conclusion. The diagnosis of herpes zoster is clinical and can be aided with laboratory investigation. Antiviral should be started early, preferably within 72 hours of the onset of herpes zoster to reduce the severity and duration of the condition and decrease the intensity of pain. In patients with a high risk of post-herpetic neuralgia, early initiation of anticonvulsant or strictly antidepressant can be considered. Treatment of acute herpes zoster release pain and post-herpetic neuralgia is challenging. The acute phase of herpes zoster is often served with a high percentage of patients seeking health care. Fortunately, the majority of patients recover due to natural course of the disease. It is, however, difficult to predict who will not recover, how long pain will persist, and which treatment regimen will provide effective in patients suffering from post-herpetic neuralgia. Here is the list of references I used to create the presentation. Okay guys, that's all I have to say for now. If anyone has question, I will be happy to answer them. Thank you. Hello guys, this is part of speech. I would like to explain part of speech that I found from this article. Firstly, verb atau kata kerja. Cause disebabkan, discuss berdiskusi, reduce mengurangi, developing mengembangkan, recognize mengenali, performance dilakukan, infect menginfeksi, persist bertahan, transported diangkut, recommended direkomendasikan. Secondly, noun atau kata benda. Reactivation, reaktivasi, infection, infeksi, disease, penyakit, complication, komplikasi, diagnosis, diagnosis, manajemen, penata laksanaan, vaccination, vaksinasi, pasien adalah pasien, vaksin adalah vaksin, pain adalah nyeri. Thirdly, adjective atau kata sifat. Latent adalah laten, painful adalah nyeri, clinical klinis, early dini, acute akut, chronic kronis, specific spesifik, efektif efektif, overall keseluruhan, elderly lanjut usia. Lastly, adverb atau kata keterangan. Classically secara khas, highly sangat, currently saat ini, appropriately dengan tepat, significantly secara signifikan, usually biasanya, initially awalnya, preferably sebaiknya, always selalu, generally umumnya. Okay, that's all part of speech that I found from the article. Thank you.